Parents sometimes have children who are in criminal trouble because likely result is from an addiction issue that they've been struggling with for years. These parents are at their wits' end. They don't know what to do. They've tried to help their children out of criminal trouble in the past, and it hasn't changed their activity or the bad choices that they continue to make. At Bannister Wyatt Stalvey, we advocate for tough love at this point. That means that one of the first questions you'll hear from us is your child currently in jail, or is your child out of jail on bond? If your child is in jail, then our advice is going to be that the child needs to stay there. If an addiction issue put them behind bars for something that was serious enough to require them to be denied bond or have a bond set that was high, then it's the safest place for them. They cannot obtain drugs behind bars. They are watched by security, and they are in a place where they can't get themselves into more trouble out on the streets. That's often hard for a parent to reconcile themselves with, that their child is in jail, they could get them out, and the advice is don't get them out. But we've come to realize that that is, in fact, the best advice that we can give. Now, a child will often call their parents and say, please get me out of here. They will threaten suicide. They will say that it's not safe, that they've upset somebody who's going to hurt them. Those are typical statements that are made by children who are behind bars and are looking for anybody to hear them and hear their plea to get them out because they want out. Please understand that is the addiction talking. Typically, it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for whatever is in their system to completely be out of their system. So you're not dealing with a rational human being until they've been back there long enough for all of that junk to get out of their bodies. At that point, we can visit whether or not it makes sense to seek a bond to get them out of jail. If so, what our counsel will be is to have something in place. That is, instead of going from jail back out to the streets, if we're going to get them out, then we've got some kind of plan that would include either treatment, inpatient treatment, some sort of structure so that they're not just going straight from jail back to a place where they have unlimited decision-making power. If your child is already out on bond, then we need to know exactly what the bond requires. Because if your child has an addiction problem, then the likelihood is they will go back to that addiction when they get out on bond, and the bond will expressly forbid the child from engaging in conduct that is contrary to the laws of the state, which would include using drugs. As hard as this may be, if we know that to be the case, then the next step would be to seek to have the bond revoked potentially so that we can get the child back to a place where we know that they can't access drugs. The hard part about all of this is that it's tough to be the parent and know that your child is going through this, and that at the end of the day, despite our best efforts, we need to recognize that it's not going to make a difference until the child makes a choice that they have reached the end of their rope, that they are at their own rock bottom, and that they are going to come to themselves and realize they can't continue down this path. There are some options when dealing with fairly serious drug charges or in dealing with other serious charges. Typically, those are theft related. Drug court is an option. It is an intense program offered in the 13th Circuit. It is an 18-month program if you are successful at completing each phase, but it can go much longer than that. The good news is that if you successfully complete a drug court program, then 85% of those who complete it do not have any other charges 5 years out and are usually dealing with their addictions in a good and healthy way. If that is the situation you find yourself in and this is the course of action you think is appropriate, then give us a call. Thank you.